start reading then? Tuesday is Pallavi's day. I always stick to that. If you have got the text, Pallavi, you can start.
Yes, Rangada, I'll start.
Go ahead.
When the sadhaka has once stood back from the action of Prakriti within him or upon him and not interfering, not amending or inhibiting, not choosing or deciding, allowed its play and analyzed and watched the process, he soon discovers that her modes are self-dependent and work as a machine once put in action works by its own structure and propelling forces. The force and the propulsion come from Prakriti and not from the creature. Then he realizes how mistaken was his impression that his mind was the doer of his works. His mind was only a small part of him and a creation and engine of nature. Nature was acting all the while in her own modes, moving the three general qualities about as a girl might play with her puppets. His ego was all along a tool and plaything. His character and intelligence, his moral qualities and mental powers, his creations and works and exploits, his anger and forbearance, his cruelty and mercy, his love and his hatred, his sin and his virtue, his light and his darkness, his passion of joy and his anguish of sorrow were the play of nature to which the soul, attracted, won, and subjected, lends its passive concurrence. And yet, the determinism of nature or force is not all. The soul has a word to say in the matter. But the secret soul, the Purusha, not the mind or the ego, since these are not independent entities, they are parts of nature. For the soul's sanction is needed for the play, and by an inner silent will, as the Lord and giver of the sanction, it can determine the principle of play and intervene in its combinations, all that the execution in thought and will and act and impulse must still be nature's part and privilege. The Purusha can dictate a harmony for nature to execute, not by interfering in her functions, but by conscious regard on her, which she transmutes at once or after much difficulty into translating idea and dynamic impetus and significant figure.
Interesting para, and we'll look at it very carefully because it's not very easy to understand what he's saying. The chapter is the gunas of nature. Okay, sattva, rajas, tamas, corresponding to the body, the life, and the mind. So, mind is okay. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Why is it going on there? I don't know. Anyway, so the sadhaka has stood back from the action of Prakriti within him or upon him. So, first of all, what is the action of Prakriti? It is the one that is moving you. Okay? All, for instance, action of a drama, okay? It is a director who tells the actors what to do. The actors don't have a will of their own and do what they want. They've been told to do something and they do exactly what the director is telling them to do. It's exactly in the same way that a sadhak, okay, ordinary man also, is doing what nature is telling him to do, including all those descriptions, fantastic. His anger, his forbearance, all his qualities, his virtues, everything is part of nature, not the soul. Okay, this is something fantastic. We always think that, oh, this man is so kind, so wonderful, okay, and this is what we start think. Actually, it is nature which is doing all these things. Say, when we see a person who is very active, we say, oh, wonderful, he's so active. It's nature. It is nature which is making him a slave. His activity and his laziness are only, he is a slave to these things. Okay? You have to understand the action of Prakriti, him or upon him. Now that's also we have to understand. Within him means soul is in moha, in confusion. The soul is thinking, doing within. Okay? So the soul is in ignorance. But it could be upon him. Okay? Then within him is the soul is in ignorance. Soul is liberated, but the body mind life continues to act in the old way. He has no control over the body mind life. He is only a witness. Okay? So that's what he says. Within him and upon him. In one case, you are free within, but on the other hand, the body mind life is going on in the old way. And not interfering. That's a witness attitude. When you are a witness, you are not interfering in the actions of the body mind life. Whatever you are doing, something good or whether you are doing something bad according to our normal ideas. Okay, just one second. Let me see. So, I think that is something good and something bad, but this is absolutely nothing to do with the soul. We can hardly judge the soul of a man. We only judge him by the outer nature, which is actually from his past lives. He has acquired all these things, and also by heredity. Okay, each life you bring your own soul qualities which you have gained from your other lives. There are three things which affect you. There is the environment which affects you, and also your heredity. Okay. In other words, whatever you have gained from your past lives, that's one element which determines your nature. The other element is the heredity which you got from your parents. That also binds you down. Okay. So, not only even psychologically. Suppose your parents are tall, there is a likelihood that you will be tall also. But that's a combination between mother and father. So it can be that a very tall parent is producing a very short one because there may be more contribution from the mother. Anyway, the heredity is one element. And the third element is the environment. The environment actually molds you, molds the outer nature. It does mold. Suppose you are in a group where you are in a very religious temperament, you will absorb that religiosity. And suppose you are in a very materialistic environment, you will absorb that materiality. Okay, that's why sometimes advises people, they are capable. She advises them not to go out of India because in India the atmosphere of religion and spirituality is there, whereas in the West it is not there. So these three things are molding your nature. Okay, remember that. And you are not in it. When you are free, not interfering. That's the important word, interfering. You're just watching, and you are not also judging. Huh? Suppose your body mind life is your mind is getting agitated, annoyed, and your vital is getting angry at people. You are not judging. It's just an action in the physical world. It can be a soft action. Judging, you are just watching. This is the first stage. Second stage is you start interfering also. That will come to it. Okay, so not interfering, not amending or inhibiting. So either are you trying to change your habits. This is the beginning. Not when you are in the Brahmic consciousness. You are not doing anything at all. You are just watching without judging and inhibiting, forbidding. Okay? When we are in our normal consciousness and we are trying to do yoga, that's a different thing. You try to control your anger. You try as much as you want, but when you are not, when you are attached to your body mind life, that doesn't succeed much. But the effort has got a contributing factor. Not interfering, not amending, not trying to change, or inhibiting, forbidding. Okay? You are not choosing or deciding. Allowed its play and analyzed and watched the process, he soon discovers that her modes. What are the modes? You can think of it as the body mind life, are self-dependent and work as a machine once put into action. start a machine, a printing machine, it will go on printing. You tell it as much as you want to do, it will do exactly that. Okay, so machine works by the rules of the machine. So the body mind life also is working according to the rules of nature. Okay, so that's all. And you have allowed its play. You have allowed, okay? You're just watching without judging. Why? Because you have to learn what you think is bad and good is not that at all. It is just you want to become absolutely free of all action of nature. Neither you want virtue or you want sin. Okay, you're just watching. Self-dependent, not depending on you at all. You have no control. And work as a machine, once put into action, works by its own structure and propelling forces. Okay. What is the propelling force? Nature's energy. It enters into you and dictates terms to you. Okay. Now, force and the propulsion come from Prakriti and not from the creature, not from you. You are not doing anything. You think that you are doing, but that's absolutely an illusion. Okay? They come from Prakriti. It's very similar to the image given is that a fly is sitting on a wheel. Okay? Is going round and round, and the fly is thinking, I am going round and round, which is absolutely a false thing. It is a wheel that is going round and round, and you are attributing the going round to yourself. Okay? You think that you are going round, that you are getting angry, that you are doing something nice, that you are very patient, that you are impatient. But all these things are not your decision at all. You are a slave. What do you think so? And when you detach yourself, make consciousness, at first you become a witness. Okay? Only a witness at first. Then you realize afterwards that no, you have some connection with the body mind life, and you can also become the okay? You can become the Anumanta. At that time, you start realizing that you can also have a little power. Okay? A little power, not too much, but you can change the habits in the body mind life. Okay? That's now. The force and the propulsion come from Prakriti and not from the creature. Then he realizes how mistaken.
Gangada?
Yes, tell me.
Gangada? Oh, your voice? Is it only for me? Your voice, we can understand the lecture, but your voice disappear at the end of talking.
Yeah, for me.
Yes, I also.
For me
Yes,
also.
yes. Sometimes
I also
through
feel
it,
like
sometimes it's not there.
One by one, all are speaking together. Anyone? Pallavi, can you tell me what she's saying?
Ranganath,
I mean,
voice is
your voice is
fluctuating.
cutting. Anna. I think internet connection is not that good. So it is, we can't hear you in between sometimes.
Oh, that means the net is not working. Okay, I got a new monitor. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know why. I'll try speaking nearer to the. Oh, there is. Oh, the mic is. Acha, acha, okay. Maybe I'm going a little far away. You are saying that you can't hear me sometimes, right?
Yes, yes, Rangada.
Okay, so
Ranganath, we can understand clearly, but we can understand clearly. Though there is voice drop,
okay.
okay, we can understand. So you can continue the class, but you could get it checked. That is another thing.
With this, the force and the propulsion come from Prakriti and not from the creature. The creature, remember, is immutable. It is in silent mode. So you are not trying to do anything. The trying to do something comes after in the second level. You are in the higher mind, and there you feel you are only Anumanta. But when you go to the 11th mind, a little bit you realize that you are the Sakshi first. Then you become the Anumanta. You realize that you can change if you want. The soul has a function and it can change. It has some power, but not too much. It's got very little power. But as you keep climbing higher and higher, from the 11th mind to the intuitive mind to the overmind, the power goes on increasing. But still, it is never complete. The power becomes complete only at the third level, the supermind. Before that, to a certain extent, you can change your body mind life, but not all. Note also interestingly how Sri Aurobindo changed his body. Okay, He used to, that power was there in him at a very early stage. His whole body became absolutely a brilliant golden color. Okay, his face, the structure of his face also changed. His features also changed. Everything changed. Okay, he said even the shape of his teeth and the shape of his toenails also started changing. Some power is there. I now come back to the text. Then he realizes how mistaken was the impression that his mind was the doer of his works. His mind was only a small part of him and a creation engine of nature. His mind are created by nature. They are only machines. They are only something created and given to the soul for one life to be used as instruments for acquiring experience. And this experience is taken, but the soul takes the essence of these experiences and grows and takes that growth to the next life. That is how the soul goes on evolving. Okay, so his mind was only a small part of him and a creation of an engine of nature. Nature was acting all the while in her own modes, moving the three general qualities about as a moving about. Okay, the phrase is very, you have to take it that chamber is inverted. You would have said, while in her own mode, moving about the three general qualities, but he has put about much later. Okay, so moving about the three general qualities as a girl might play with her puppets on a tool and plaything. We don't realize that we are a slave. We don't realize. His character and intelligence. Now, Sedgwick is saying all that you think is your credit, okay, is not your credit. Okay. He says very interesting in Lifetime, you should remember, he says if the potter has made the pot in a certain way, it is not the credit of the pot, it's the credit of the potter. So, what he's saying here, same thing. He gives a huge list. What you think is your quality, it's not your quality at all. It is nature which has made you. His ego was all along a tool and plaything. Okay. And intelligence, his moral qualities and mental powers, his creations and works and exploits, his anger and forbearance. He's giving you opposites. Okay? Anger, but also forbearance, the capacity to bear things, okay, and be patient. His cruelty and mercy. Of the interesting dualities, all the duality only belong to the nature. Okay? Above the level 2, there are no dualities. You start seeing the oneness. His cruelty and mercy, his love and his hatred, his sin and his virtue, his light and his darkness, his passion of joy and his anguish of sorrow, by the play of nature, to which the soul, attracted, won and subjected, and its passive concurrence. So, this is when you are in ignorance. 99% of humanity is born with this slavery and they don't realize it. Okay, all of us are like that. We may have a mental idea, oh, I am not, but that's not enough. You must realize it in your soul, and that's different. Mental idea is not enough. Doesn't give you liberation. Okay, the soul, attracted, won and subjected, lent its passive concurrence. Now the word passive concurrence is not an active concurrence, because then you realize when you are a Anumanta, permission giver, that concurrence becomes active, and then you have power also to withdraw your sanction. Okay? And slowly, very slowly, the old habits start dying out. Okay? Just like, as I told you, it's a very interesting image which I use. I like that image. The scooter. You are going along, and when you are about 100 meters away from your destination, you switch off the scooter. But the scooter goes on going. So when you have not given the permission to your vehicle to get angry, your anger will slowly become less and less and less. But why slowly? Because the old energy that you have given it will continue to operate until finally the new energy is not being given to it, so it withdraws and finally falls silent. So that's the expression he is giving. Okay, so to which the soul attracted, one and subjected. One and subjected seems wonderful, but actually it is nothing but you are a slave. Okay, subjected to nature, lent its passive concurrence. And yet the determinism of nature or force is not all. Theory that the soul is always subject to nature, not true. Okay, you have a little bit of power even when you are in the ignorance. That is the reason why you must start controlling yourself. Although it is not very effective, but it's one element which contributes to your progress. Or it may be a false image. But Shevda says very clearly, even that has got a contributing. Your wrong idea of yourself that you can control your body, mind, life, you can control your vital, is basically wrong. And yet it's a contributory factor. So you mustn't say that I am subject to nature, so I'll not control myself. You can't say that. You have to try. Okay? Because it becomes a contributory. And yet the determinism of nature. Determinism of nature, nature is making you absolutely what she wants you to be. Or force is not all. The soul has a word to say in the matter. And that you realize when you are the Anumanta. Okay? And then you become the Bhokta, the Bharta. Okay? But the secret soul, the Purusha, not the mind or the ego, since these are not independent entities. The mind and the ego, body, mind, life are not independent entities. They have no will of their own. It's an illusion. They are all subject to nature. So which is the one that has got the possibility of independence? Your soul. Okay? Your consciousness. That can detach itself from the body, mind, life. But so long as you are in ignorance, you cannot do that. So, they are parts of nature. Your body, your mind, and your vital and the ego are all part of nature, universal nature, entering into you and becoming individual nature. For the soul's sanction is needed for the play, and by an inner silent will, as a lord and giver of the sanction, it can determine the principle of the play and intervene in its combinations. The combinations of what? The combinations of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. They combine themselves and that creates your nature. So that you can alter that. Although the execution in thought and will and act and impulse must still be nature's part and privilege. That's an interesting thing what he's saying. Even your effort to change yourself is part of nature only. Okay, so.
Yes, Rangada, that's our karma, no?
Yes, that's right. So karma binds you down. That's right. Okay. So
Then there is no independence.
there is no independence when you are in the ignorance. But when the soul realizes that it's a slave, it can detach itself. It has that power. But when it is in moha, when it's in confusion, and when it is in delusion, then it doesn't have any power. But the soul has basically power. Chit and Shakti. Shakti is binding you down at this level, but Chit is independent. It can become self-dependent. But it is a long process of yoga which does that. Okay. The Purusha, now said this, coming to that. The Purusha can dictate a harmony for nature to execute, not by interfering in her functions, but by conscious regard on her, which she transmutes at once or after much difficulty into translating idea and dynamic impetus and significant figure. So let's understand what he's saying. So first you are a Sakshi and you are only watching and you realize that you are a slave. And the old habits of the nature continue. Anger, jealousy, selfishness, but also your intelligence, your kindness, okay, your virtues, all that also continues. Okay. But spiritually speaking, your virtues have no value at all because it's only determined by nature. Okay. So that you realize. People really take a lot of pride. Okay. He is very kind, he is very intelligent. That is absolutely Nothing. It's not your intelligence at all. It is not your kindness. Okay. So, the Purusha can dictate a harmony when it goes to a slightly higher level than the higher mind. It can go to the element mind and realize that I can withdraw the sanction that I've given to my body-mind life. Okay? That's the beginning of the separation. Not by interfering in the functions. Now that's interesting. Understand this. Not by interfering in the functions, because you have no power to interfere in the functions. So the first movement of liberation is to withdraw the permission. Okay? Withdraw the permission. The old nature goes on executing what it was by the old energy imparted to it. So finally, when that is exhausted, the soul can come out. And when the soul comes out, it is free, but not free from nature. That's why in Srivamdasa Yoga, there are two levels. Liberation of soul, but second is liberation of nature also. Okay? The nature also must change. That can be done only at the third level. Okay? So I hope you understand what Srivamdasa is saying. The Purusha can dictate a harmony for nature to execute, not by interfering in a function, because it doesn't have the power, okay? But by a conscious regard on her, which she transmutes, which nature transmutes at once or after much difficulty. So, if you are really you are a developed person, the nature can, if your will is very strong, it can at once change the character. Or after much difficulty, if you are a normal person and you want to change your anger, after much difficulty it will change. Okay? Into translating idea and dynamic impetus and significant figure. What does the word significant figure mean? The significant, suppose you have anger. Okay? The significant figure would be the anger slowly changes and becomes calm and quiet. And that becomes a significant figure. Okay? So that's what he said. So what's the time? 8:32. We have got 8 minutes. Maybe we can read one more paragraph. If
Ranganath, I
yeah,
have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
So the Bharata, soul as the supporter, is it still passive? The soul supporter, Bharata, is it still passive?
You remember, I'm deaf a little bit. Can Archana ji or someone tell me what Sungi is asking? Then I'll try to answer.
It's not clear. Sunke, it's not clear what you're saying.
The soul.
The soul.
Okay.
The soul as the supporter, Bharata, is it still passive? Is it still passive?
The soul as Bharta, is it still passive?
Yes, that's my question. Thank you.
It is passive at the higher mind level, and at the element mind level, it starts becoming active. Starts. Okay. When you withdraw the permission, it is active. It's not passive. Okay. So it's a mixture of passivity and activity. Even when you say you are withdrawing the sanction, it is partly passive and partly because you don't have the full power. Na? So your question is an interesting one, but there is a gradation. Partly it is passive. Okay, you are just wanting to withdraw the permission that you have given earlier. I now say you can't do that. Okay? But
so what about supporter, the Bharata, supporter, not the Anumanta?
Yeah.
This is not the Anumanta, but the supporter, the Bharta.
Yes. Yeah, you could say that, yeah. So that's right. These gradations are there in the Gita, which also follows. First of all, Sakshi. No power at all. Anumanta. A little bit of power is coming into say no to your body-mind life. Then you become even Bharta. You realize that you are supporting and you are only saying things to your body-mind life. You is a soul. Then you become also the Bhokta, the Jnata. You start understanding the thing. Jnata, and then finally you become the Bhokta. You start enjoying everything that the body-mind life is doing to you. Then you become Ishvara finally. So these gradations are there in the second level of the spiritual planes of consciousness, but the Ishwarta, the Aishwaryam, comes only at the third level. It's never complete, full. But to a large extent, the yogi who is in the spiritual planes of consciousness can change himself outwardly, but not full power is there to do what he wants with the body mind life. Okay?
It's little confusing, Rangada. Explain once more, please. It's little not clear.
Okay. So, when your soul goes to the second level, okay, of the spiritual planes of consciousness, it is not subject to your body mind life. That is clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So the soul is at first, it is not subject to body mind life. It realizes that I was thinking that I am body mind life, but I see that I am only pure consciousness. I am soul and I am not the body mind life. The body mind life was instruments given to me. I was identifying myself with the house and the energy. Now I realize that I am not, those things are only given to me for use. Okay, that's the first thing. So that's a witness. You are the witness, Sakshi. You are not interfering with your body mind life, but only realizing the facts. Then you realize after some time that my body mind life is going on doing things on its own, but I realize now that I have only given it power to do. I had passively agreed for it. And why did I agree? Because I need experience in the world. And experience will come from good things and bad things. Okay, good and bad are ideas of the human being. They are not ideas of the divine. Okay, there is no good and bad for the divine. They are all only pure actions, hard actions, soft actions. You must see it that way. So there is no question of good and bad. So good also will teach you, and bad also will teach you. Okay, so you are having experiences, and the experiences are giving you knowledge slowly. Tarika, clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next is, then you start seeing that you can also become the Bharta. Even little more power is there. And you start also becoming the Jnata. You get more knowledge also. So it's a gradation. Yeah, tell me.
Bharta word itself, what does it mean?
Jnata. Jnata means the one who knows.
Not Jnata, Bharta.
Oh, Bharta. Bharta is the one who supports. Okay. In the beginning, when you are a Sakshi, you feel that you are totally unconnected with your body mind life. It's a transcendent experience. Okay. But then you realize that no, that first impression of transcendence was not correct. There is a connection. Okay. Then you realize that you are the Bharta. You are supporting your own body mind life. Remember that the universe is the second level and it is supporting the universe. The universe, the second level of the Brahmic consciousness, is actually issuing out of itself the movement which is the universe. So the Brahmic consciousness is the supporter. It's the origin of the universe. Okay? So it supports. If the universe is not there, if the Brahmic consciousness is not there, there can be no universe of motion. Again, think of the glacier and the river. Okay, the glacier is level 2. The glacier is the Brahmic consciousness. It seems to be static, but when it starts coming down, it becomes a river, which is motion and movement, and that's the universe. Okay, so unless the glacier is there, there can be no universe. So individually also the same phenomena happens. You realize that your static consciousness is the one that is allowing the movement in the body mind life. I told you first about the universal and then also the individual. Remember also that the whatever is true of the universal is also true of the individual. These small details you must remember. Okay? Then it becomes easy to understand. Okay? So, somewhat clearer now, Tarika?
Yes.
Okay, but we have reached the end of our time, 8:40. So we'll stop here today, and next we'll go to next Tuesday, an escape from the action of the two inferior. So we'll go to that. Okay.
Okay. Rangada.
Over, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Rangada.
Thank you.